I literally had to get the cobwebs off the microphone there. What's going on, guys? It's Grand here, back with another video for you, and I know it's been a while, so it's nice to be back, and it's nice to talk to you guys all again, and I think we should just get right into it, right? You are reading the title right. I know that it goes against conventional wisdom. I know it goes against pretty much everything that you ever heard, right? But today, in this video, as I make my return to the normal style of videos and start speaking to you guys again after so long, I want to talk to you guys about something that I've realized lately, which is that you have every right to, and I believe you even should, become more materialistic. You see, I think this whole idea of materialistic things being bad is actually, like many things in modern life, a huge psyop. It goes along the lines of these other famous tropes out there that we've been told, like, just be yourself, people are going to like you for who you are, all that stuff, in that it doesn't encourage you to grow at all from who you are. And if you're seeking out these videos, if you're seeking out self-improvement videos, if you're watching this or, you're a fan of my previous videos, you probably want to do some growing, right? You probably don't want to be the person you are now forever. You probably want to ascend in a certain way, right? Which is good. It's good that you're interested in that, because a lot of people, I don't think they even think about these things. But I think one of the greatest joys in life, is this growth. And growth should ultimately lead you to having more freedom, more capability, and oftentimes more assets, right? And this growth of your capability, as many people out there have already realized, can be expressed, and oftentimes is expressed, through the acquisition of, some nicer things, some more materialistic things, right? See, this isn't going to be me sitting here and telling you guys that you need to become more of a dick to people or more shallow or anything like that, right? But just simply that it is okay to want nice things for yourself. And that this whole notion of, I'm not materialistic, I don't care about these worldly things, like a lot of things, it's simply nonsense, right? We live in the physical realm. We're here right now in our physical bodies. You're listening to this on your physical device with your physical ears, right? So we should embrace the material nature of this world. It's okay to say that you want a healthier body, right? It's okay to say that you want a happy life, you want peace and quiet and a prosperous existence, right? But for some reason, there is this notion, this stigma, that if you want nice things like a nice car or nice clothes or a lot of money in the bank or the latest phone or nice jewelry, like some nice bling or something, or a big house, that this is gluttonous and bad. And it can be, right? It can be. But oftentimes, it's really not. And the people telling you to not care about it and embrace this minimalist lifestyle where, you just exist with nothing but a mattress on the floor of some crappy apartment and you got your PS5 and a TV, they're sort of messing with your head, right? The people that are telling you this, because it's coming from a similar place as the other notion, right? That like money doesn't buy happiness, which is kind of another psyop. And now, I'm not saying that money or materialistic things are going to actually make you fulfilled, right, in that deep, deep way, make you happy and like fill all those deep needs, the same way that like love and like, making love to a nice woman or, the smiles on your children's faces can do, right? That sort of deep, deep satisfaction. But if we're being honest with ourselves, and I believe we should be, I believe that honesty and truth is like so important and so undervalued right now. If we're being honest, a lack of money, a lack of assets can lead to a lot of discomfort, to say the least, in our lives. A lot of conflict, a lot of argument, a lot of stress, right? And if you would ask some of these rich people, some of these wealthy people with all their money, if they'd like to just get rid of it all, the odds are they won't. The odds are that they would like to keep it. All the while telling you that you don't really need money, right? You don't need materialistic things to be happy. You shouldn't be materialistic, right? And that notion gets pushed out there so much, and so many people follow this, and they just end up just sort of laying around in like shanty clothes and not doing anything because they have this backup thing in their head. They have this thing that they can fall back on. Like, oh, it doesn't really matter that much anyway, right? I'm not saying that you need to become greedy or disgusting about things. I'm not saying that you should acquire money or possessions just to like burn them in front of people and laugh when they've got nothing to eat, right? But what I'm trying to communicate here is that you should be honest with yourself about what you really want versus what you are just sort of coping through not having by using this idea that you're not a materialistic person, right? The truth of the matter is that there is a baseline of things that really are quite nice to have. It's nice to have money in the bank. It's nice to be able to go do things and not stress about the bills. It's nice to have a nice car that works, that you can rely on, that looks good, that's kind of sexy, it turns people's heads. It's fun, guys. It's nice to have the latest phone sometimes, or at least like a fairly recent one, a fairly recent modern phone that has like a nice display that works, it's fast, it can do all of the modern things you need from a phone. It's not broken or cracked. It's not running out of storage and always giving you these little warnings. It's not like the charging port is not working, so you got to like tilt it a certain way or like put pressure on it a certain way just to charge it, and like ultimately like sucking so much of your time just because you've decided like, oh, I don't need to upgrade. I just use this one forever, right? It's nice even to get some nice quality clothes that it's like when you wear them, you feel this like good feeling. You feel this confidence. You almost feel like this solid feeling is like the way I would describe it, where everything just like fits well and it's clean, and your confidence level is just boosted by like a lot, honestly. And you walk around, you feel like the man. A lot of people will say like clothes don't make the man, this or that. Just think about like the way you feel when you're wearing something nice that you really know is nice versus like you're wearing some shirt with like a stain on it. It completely changes the way you move around. It completely changes the way you think, because subconsciously we are aware of this. Our brain is aware of a lot of this subconscious stuff that we try to just play off like, oh, it doesn't matter, but it does. You see, a lot of people out there have realized this already, what I'm talking about. They've realized this sort of idea that it's okay and it's good to have nice things. But for a long period of life, you've been told it doesn't matter. For a long period of life, you probably actually even realize it, right? But you've ignored it. You're like, I don't understand why that guy dresses that way, or, he has this nice chain, he's got jewelry, or these like rings on, or he's got like this nice tattoo, or, he has this car with like, he's like trying to keep it clean all the time. It's like, I don't really know. Like I'm seeing this guy doing this, but I don't really understand it because I've been told I don't need to be materialistic, right? But then this other guy, he does all this stuff, and it's bringing him joy, actually. And it's bringing him like a certain amount of success. It's helping him attract women. He's like feeling like the character that he wants to be in life. And I've often told a lot about how so many of us are gamers, right? But we need to start building the game of life. We need to start building the life character. We're all just humans at the end of the day, right, guys? So as you wear, your band t-shirt, you got your swishy, silky pants, you got your cargo pants, your whatever clothing that you've had for years, and you're walking around telling yourself you're not a materialistic person, it's like maybe you should be a little bit, right? Because upgrading yourself is one of the joys of life, and it's ingrained in us to do so, especially if you are a man. We have this like innate desire for freedom and to build a kingdom almost, and to have riches, and to look nice and signal that we have our lives together, and that attracts like more attractive women, because women want to know like, hey, does he have it together? Is he winning in life? And these things are often like a signal to them like, yes, he does, right? I think that's almost like a reason why like we're attracted to these things like silver and gold and things like that. It's like the high status men of the past would wear this stuff, and I think it's almost like an evolutionary thing inside of us to be attracted to this stuff because we know that it's like a way of signaling. It's just a normal biological thing that we have inside of us. And what I've realized a lot as I've gotten older is that we need to simply go with the flow oftentimes of these desires that we have to feel good. And I know that sounds like very shallow, right? But it's like if you have to take a pee, if you've got a full bladder, like nothing else is really going to matter, right? Until you go and you take that pee, right? It sounds weird, but it's like everything else stops mattering. The video game stops mattering. The show that you're binge watching stops mattering until you satisfy that biological desire that you have. And the desire to acquire wealth and freedom, if you're a man with any amount of testosterone, is there. But conveniently, society, whatever you want to call it, this construct, the society that requires worker drones to work in the factories, to work the corporate jobs all day. The society has told us that it's like, those are just materialistic desires that you have, and you don't need that. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to have nice things. You don't need to have your own kingdom and have the nice jewelry and the clothes that make you feel like a boss when you wear them. You don't need all that. Just come work in the factory for me and pull this lever for 10 hours a day and make just enough to live in this little box of an apartment, right? You can afford a few pairs of cheap clothes when your old ones fall apart, right? Just a couple new pairs of cheap clothes that you can wear to the factory the next day. You're not materialistic, right? Meanwhile, you're building their dream. The person that started that company that you're working for, they started this company because they knew the importance of maximizing their materialistic, if you will, existence. They realized how much better life would be with assets. And so they've been working towards a better life with these assets. They've been working towards acquiring these assets while telling you, the worker drone, that you don't need them to be happy. And I mean, like, you don't really need them to be happy, right? But to a degree, it's going to make you a lot happier than you are now. And you want to at least be like the kind of person who has the ability to acquire these assets, right? There's a big difference, guys, between the person who lives in an apartment with a mattress, like a crappy apartment with a mattress, or a low-key apartment with a mattress and a laptop because that's how they want to live. They're living like that because that's how they want to live, but yeah, they've got the assets already, versus the person who lives in the small crappy apartment with a laptop because that's all they can do, because that's what they have to do. There's a big difference there. So just be honest with yourself. Wouldn't you like to have nice things? It's okay to admit it. Many people have already figured this out. Look at like the sports stars that so many people look up to, the musicians, the artists even. They all have a lot of bling most of the time. Like, I'm not really into conventional sports at all. All I watch is MMA. All I watch is UFC, but I'll see people on Instagram sometime, like, they'll post this baseball player and he's got like all these chains on, right? It's like, why does a baseball player need these chains and things like that, right? But he can afford it. It's an expression of themselves. They want to look nice. They're showing the world, they're showing the women, hey, I can make it happen. I have the assets. I have the horsepower to make this life happen, right? So to speak, to buy a nice chain. It doesn't make you happy, but it does make you happy, to a degree, because a big part of life is materialism. It's like half and half. There's like the part of life that's like inside your brain where you're just sort of, meditating. You go to sleep at night, your brain creates this entire new dream world. Maybe we're transported somewhere else. It's hard to say exactly what's happening there. It's hard to say what happens when we die. Do we go to like another realm or something like that? Who knows? And ultimately, maybe all this materialistic stuff is not so important in the long run, right? But it is important now. Life is materialistic. You don't want to like lose part of your body or something. You wouldn't want to like lose your ability to run around or lose your ability to like use your arms or lose your ability to speak, right? And then you would just say, oh, well, it's all materialistic. You wouldn't, right? And everything in a way is just an extension of yourself. The clothes you wear, the life you're cultivating, it's like an extension of yourself. The same way your body, your hands, your feet are like an extension of yourself, right? I know this is the opposite of what you've been told, but I'm telling you guys, embrace your desire for nice things, because what's going to happen is you're going to realize, like, hey, if I want this nice car, if I want this Tesla, or I want this muscle car, if I admit to myself and I say that I want it, now I have to do something to get it, right? And this goes back to what I was saying before, that this message gets put out there so often as a way to cultivate drones. Because when you convince yourself that you don't want something, then it's more palatable to just be someone else's whipping boy for 10 hours a day. Then you can stomach that more. And then you come home and you're like, well, I'm the Buddha, right? I'm just going to sit here cross-legged and just meditate in the dark. And none of this matters. It's all just a dream. Whatever BS people tell themselves. Once you figure out that you want simply, shallowly, whatever you want to call it, once you figure out that you want a nice car, you want the nice phone, you want the nice things, you realize that you must upgrade your situation. And in order to upgrade your situation, you must upgrade yourself. You must self-improve, right? You might need to do something that is going to put you in a better position to be able to get those things. Maybe you need to get a better job, or maybe you need to start a business. You have to start swimming a little harder and become a better person. And just be honest with yourself, right, guys? Like, are you not a materialistic person, or do the things that you want deep down, the women, the nice things, the ability to just call up like a hot girl, have her come over and just do whatever you want, right? Is that really not something you want? Or does it just seem that that would be too difficult to acquire? And so you've reverted to this other existence where you just pretend like you don't need it, right? Ask yourself that if you could change your situation with a snap of the finger from what it is now to one where you have a nice house. I'm not saying like a mansion or whatever, but you have a nice house that's comfortable. You got a nice view. You got some cars in the garage. If you could snap your finger and change your reality from what it is now to the reality that you truly desire, where you have more freedom, more attraction from women, nicer things. If you could snap your finger and make that happen, would you choose to do that if you had the ability? Think about that. You would probably choose to do that if you had the ability. So perhaps reevaluate if you really are this non-materialistic person, or if that's just the easy route that you've chosen because the other route is more difficult. When you have these things you want, the nice chain, the nice car, you start to change, honestly. You become the type of person who can actually acquire these things. You have to level up and become this more capable person, right? You completely have to change who you are. Unless you think that just the person that you are right now can just walk out tomorrow and have whatever you want. I think you're being naive there. I think you'll realize that there's a lot of growth that needs to take place in order to make that stuff happen. You're going to have to completely change who you are. You're likely going to have to become a more spiritually in tune person, ironically, right, than the person who just sat around being happy with nothing. You're likely going to grow more in the whatever metaphysical realm than these people that are masquerading as non-materialistic people. And the ironic thing, once again, is that once you have that freedom, once you have those assets, is that you are more free to actually become that non-materialistic person that you might want to be, right? And now you can start having like the real non-materialistic fun. Now you can start helping people out. Now you can leave like those big tips when you're out to eat and make like your servers cry in joy. Like that real like joy that you will get from doing that That's like the real non-materialistic joy that people talk about, right? When you're just able to like help other people and improve their lives. Now you can help people out with their bills or whatever they need, and you can start changing people's lives, right? And that's really that true non-materialistic joy that everybody is like pretending that they're all about, right? Now you can really pursue things in life more than just struggling to put a roof over your head, just getting your paycheck and then having to spend it all on bills and whatever else you're spending it on, right? Now you can actually have some fun. You see what I'm saying? Because if you can get to the point where you can afford what you want, you're probably not just going to make exactly the amount you want for those things, right? It usually doesn't work like that. You're probably going to end up getting the things you want, getting to that level, and then also having more than what you really need, right? You're going to get yourself set up. You'll become the king of your own life. You're going to get your own oxygen mask on first, as they say, and then you're going to realize, like, man, like, I've kind of done this now. I've got what I wanted. I've got the nice things. And now let's just play, man. Let's just kind of like shake the box, see what happens. Like the world becomes a playground when you're not constantly struggling to survive the way that so many people are. Now you're in a position to help others. Now you can really be that type of person that you were kind of pretending to be earlier. And that's amazing, right? Then you can really start to explore like non-materialism. You can really start to explore what it means to like help people and not necessarily be always thinking about money. That's the funny thing, man, is the people who probably have the most money, who probably have the most material possessions, are probably thinking about money less than the people who are broke and just like refreshing their bank account to see if they got some random refund from something they had to go like return just to get $25 so they could go buy eggs and not like starve that week. Isn't that crazy, right? So go, my friends, and be materialistic, right? Let this stuff motivate you. Think about the things that you want. You probably always wanted that nice muscle car. You probably always wanted that nice, I don't know, bracelet or something, right? I just got a chain the other day. I bought a chain the other day for my first time in my life. I bought a Cuban link sterling silver Cuban link for like $275. It's the most I've ever spent on any kind of jewelry or anything like that. I love it. I'm not gonna lie. It's enhanced my life. I like the way the chain looks. I don't even wear it out. Like, it's like a very subtle thing. It's like 4 inches, or not 4 inches. It's like 4 whatever millimeters. It's not like a big flashy Cuban chain. It's just I got the chain on. I know it's there. It's underneath my shirt, but you can still kind of see it around my neck, and it's like it's subtle, but it's there, and it has enhanced my life because you feel like you're doing something for yourself. So go be materialistic, guys. Like, think about what you really want. Think about the car, the clothes, the jewelry, the things that you really want, and then use this to motivate you. You have to start formulating a plan from this point forward. Like, how am I going to make this happen? How am I going to level up to the point where I can make this happen? Am I doing enough now? Do I need to like stop going out, stop drinking all this beer, stop doing all this nonsense, and I got to spend some time like studying, like learning about money, learning about how to start a business? Like, use this stuff to motivate you and start figuring out who you need to become to make this happen. Start strategizing. Let the lack of having what you want, let that sting, right? So you wake up and you want to get after it. Be honest with yourself and figure out what kind of life you really want and create it. So that's it for the video today, guys. It's nice to be back. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. You know, you got to say all that stuff on YouTube, but really, it helps me out. If this video helps you out, if you got something out of it, some joy out of it, some good feelings listening to this, if you kind of got motivated by this, then you don't need to do anything other than just make a couple clicks, like, subscribe, and what that is going to do, honestly, is it boosts my videos in the algorithm, and then, you know, we get these videos out there to more people, and it helps me out. And ultimately, I'm hoping that it helps out the world. There's a lot of shady businesses out there, right? A lot of shady practices, a lot of shady ways that people do business and make money. But it's my dream, it's my goal to make getting these messages out to people and communicating with people and letting people know that there's different ways to live life. I would like that to be my business. So if this video helps you, the way you could help me is just give me some feedback, give me a like, subscribe to the channel. And then also, if you'd like to go the extra mile, you can follow me on x.com, which is going to be perhaps the last bastion of free speech. Who knows what's going to happen with like YouTube and these other big tech sites eventually. So I think as a backup, follow me on X would help a lot. And I post some written content there too, guys. And, you know, we can communicate on there perhaps a little bit more, with a little bit more ease than we communicate on YouTube. So follow me on X too, if you would like. So that's it, guys. It was nice talking to you guys again. I'll talk to you next time. Shortly. Soon. Bye.